Hi guys, I'm Tara O'Leary, the Wine Passionista. Today we are talking food and wine pairing because I have heard from so many of you that this is a really big issue and you want to understand how to put your food and wine together in a way that will not only impress you, but impress your friends like crazy. So we're going to go through today the 5 secrets to great food and wine pairing. Secret number 1, watch your weight. And no, I'm not talking about your weight. I'm talking about the weight of the food and the wine. So, for example, if you have light foods like salads and fresh vegetables and light fish, you want a wine that's light as well, that won't overpower or overwhelm those flavors. That's the key to food and wine pairing, is that you want to accentuate the flavors of the food and the wine without overwhelming or overpowering either one of them. So, for your light foods, your light white wines like a Muscadet or Vernaccia would be great. Then for your medium-bodied, so you've got something that's maybe some chicken, it's not too heavy, but it's not a piece of lettuce either. So with your medium heavy food, you'd want something like a Pinot Noir or a Chardonnay for the white. And then, of course, with your heavier foods, now we're talking, lasagnas and maybe a T-bone steak. Now, these require much bigger wines, and we're probably talking reds only here. I wouldn't advise any whites with these really big, flavorful dishes. And so for your big reds with lots of tannin, especially if you're having meat, you want the tannin and the protein. They really help. The tannin softens the protein, and the protein actually softens the wine as well. So for these big reds, you could go for a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Zinfandel or Malbec. Any of these big reds will match perfectly. Secret number 2 is match the wine with the sauce that you're preparing. Most of the time, the food that we cook will have some kind of sauce. Even if it's a steak, it might have some béarnaise on the side. So, and a lot of times it's easier and better to pair the wine with that sauce. So instead of just pairing wine with chicken, which can be a very plain chicken breast, you would choose a very different wine if it were a chicken Florentine, for example. You need something to stand up to those creamy flavors. So maybe a Burgundian Macon in that instance. But that same plain chicken breast, if it were in a tomato-based sauce, you would want something completely different than a Burgundian Macon. You'd want something, perhaps a red, maybe something soft and supple like a Dolcetto d'Alba from Italy. Secret number 3 is a fabulous shortcut if you're running out of time and just zooming into the store to grab a bottle on the fly. It's color coding. And what I mean by that is that the color of the wine can give you a clue as to what it's going to go well with. So if you grab a bottle of white and it's really quite pale and light, then it's telling you that it will pair well with the green salads and light, delicate foods, the white fish. Whereas if that white is a bit more of a golden color, then it can stand up to those bigger flavors, maybe the chicken breast or something, a butternut squash risotto, something with a little bit of texture and substance. Now, the same goes with rosé wines or pink wines. They go perfectly with pink food, like tuna steak or salmon or charcuterie of salami and prosciutto. And then, of course, the red, almost black wines are saying that they need those hearty, robust flavors. And, you're going to find them, if you look at the color, again, of steaks and stews, they're going to match pretty well with those really dark, robust reds. Secret number 4, and it's the spice of life. Now, we all enjoy a good Thai or Chinese meal, but oftentimes the spice in those foods can cause a real problem when trying to pair it with wine. So the easy answer is to do something a little bit different and contrast your pairing. So in this instance, we're going to try the spicy foods with sweet wines. And I don't mean dessert wines, anything overly luscious. I just mean gently, delicately sweet. For example, a Gewürztraminer or a Riesling Spätlese would be ideal. Now, when you're talking about spicy food, you have to rule out the red because the tannins in those red wines will just accentuate that spice and your mouth will be on fire. And if you are a kind of 5-alarm person that really loves the spicy food, forget the wine altogether and go with a cold beer. Our 5th and final secret to fabulous food and wine pairing is simply to go back to the land. This secret is about as old as wine itself, and what I mean is that countries, especially in Europe, have been making wine for centuries. And what are they eating with those wines? Well, they're traditional foods of their countries. So think for a second of Italy. They've got loads of wonderful pastas and pizzas. So therefore, it's natural that those types of foods would pair well with wines of Italy, like Chianti and Primitivo and Valpolicella. And the same is true if you think of Argentina. They do wonderful things with a steak, and they make Malbec. So therefore, it would make sense, and it does if you've tried it, to drink Malbec with a big steak, maybe like a churrasco steak like they do in Argentina. And it even works with juicy American burgers and a good California Cabernet. So don't forget, the ultimate food and wine pairing is when you bring two good flavors together that really accentuate and bring out the best in each other. And it doesn't have to be difficult or overwhelming. So next time you're looking for a bottle of wine to go with your meal, remember these 5 tips and you'll find a great match. And don't worry about getting it wrong, just have fun. Here's to trying something new, learning something new, and enjoying every glass a whole lot more. And check out my other pointers on quickanddirtytips.com and find me on Twitter at Tara_Devon, on Facebook at Wine Passionista, and online at winepassionista.com. See you next time!